It's podcast number 8.
Ooh, exciting.
Well, it's actually, no, it's podcast number 8 because those first one was a special, so that doesn't count in the number.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why specials work, I think.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So give that a different number, like
so
1.8.
I'm going to have one piece of chocolate. This other chocolate is special chocolate, so that doesn't count.
It doesn't count as a bonus chocolate.
Bonus chocolate. I'm totally using that from
boy.
now on. Good boy. I'm just popping out for one beer, Jen. These other ones are special beers.
Yes. Bonus beers.
Well, today we're going to be talking to...
Katie Spencer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Katie Spencer conversation first thing on a Sunday morning.
It's brave. It's
It was
a brave
brave.
decision to go with the Sunday morning.
I was very confident when we had the email exchange. Yeah, we'll do Sunday morning.
But we've got up particularly early. We've done our big walk. We are feeling refreshed and invigorated, and we are caffeinated up.
I'm really caffeinated. I've had one coffee and all these bonus coffees. Right, then shall we get on with it?
Okay, here we go. Katie Spencer.
Rolls and rolls of barbed wire waves, years and years of industry fades. Attack a shoreline where a shipwreck once lay. At the edge of the land.
So where are you today? Yeah,
I'm in Hackney.
Oh.
It's very sunny.
it's a beautiful day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
brings you to Hackney?
I've actually just been recording for my next album, which has been amazing.
Oh.
So I've spent the last week kind of just in that world, really, and then I've got another week coming up, and then hopefully half of the record will be done. So that's why I'm here.
Brilliant. I saw a picture of you in the studio with the carpet. It looked really nice. Yeah, that's a very fancy place.
It's a lovely spot, yeah. Really nice people. Yeah.
So have you got the band with you there, or is it just you in the studio this time, or what's...
Yeah, I'm doing it a little differently this time. My last record was kind of done live over 2 days with like a trio setup, which was really fun, and I feel like we got a really nice energy about the songs and that kind of thing. But I feel like this record is a bit more... A lot of the songs are a bit more kind of introspective in a way, and they all kind of need treating slightly differently, so... It's just been me and a producer who I haven't worked with before, but it's amazing. Really happy to be with him.
Oh, brilliant.
And we're just kind of working through them together. But then next week we've got some folks coming in to add some stuff like double bass and clarinet and that kind of thing.
Oh,
so,
excellent.
yeah, it's exciting.
That's one of the things
Yeah.
you were talking about, wasn't it? It's like the recording process of what you did differently between the first album and the second. And
Yeah, because I was reading some bits, and on your first album, you recorded it in a similar fashion to that, and then the fact that you did those live sessions for the second album. But there's such a warmth to the recording, and it just comes across in the general sound of your music. So you put it on, and it does feel, I don't know, there's just like a warm, cosy room. Is that the wrong way to describe it?
Oh, thank you. Oh, no, that's really lovely. I really like the kind of feeling as though, like, when you're listening to music, you're in the room with
yeah.
the musicians. I think that's really lovely. So, yeah, we tried to do that with the last one, definitely. Like, because you're in and amongst the three of us who are playing and stuff, which is, really nice. I think this one is a bit more kind of, it's kind of even more intimate, but in a kind of very different sense.
Okay.
It's quite, I think, intense, I guess, intense in terms of like how intimate it is. But I guess it kind of feels a little bit more like I'm kind of singing directly to an individual rather than an individual like being in the room and just kind of eavesdropping, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So when are you planning to get that released?
It'll be next year. So I'm just going to spend kind of a lot of this year figuring out how I want to do that. So I'm trying to kind of mix things up a bit with a lot of my decisions, and feeling really excited about that. It's just going to take a little bit of time to figure out the right ones.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really exciting though, isn't it, when you got something? It's just trying to plan. There's so many strands to it that you have to kind of think it through.
Yeah.
But and there must always be that urge that you just want to play the songs to people and just get them out, but then at the same time just hold off and just do it right. It must be a really hard balance to try and achieve.
Yeah, I think especially with, like you just said, kind of sharing the songs with people and deciding when to do that. I've been trying to hold back on playing some of the songs live, because I'm a real sucker for kind of writing a song and
Just
going,
go.
I really want to know what you think.
I wrote this afternoon. I can't wait any longer.
Yeah, and I've been really trying to restrain myself, which to mixed success. But
But yeah, it must be lovely when you first play a song to someone to get people's reactions to it. Have you ever changed songs due to the reactions that you get?
definitely, yeah. I find it really useful. It's kind of invaluable, and I suppose that's why I found it quite a challenge to try and keep me in the bag. But yeah, I find it really useful. I mean, it's always surprising as well, when you bring out a bunch of new songs and you kind of have an idea about which ones you feel might come across best in a live setting or whatever, but I'm often wrong. And that's really fascinating. So, people obviously kind of begin to see trends and patterns in what people come and say to you afterwards, and which songs they pick out and which lines they pick out. And it's really fascinating. And yeah, it does make me, sometimes it makes me just approach the song differently in terms of how I put it across. Sometimes I realise in that process that I need to be a little bit softer or emphasise certain things rather than, I guess, changing big things. It's often just like the approach that I'm taking, and I find that really helpful. So yeah, it's been interesting this week in the studio, just kind of having not had that process with some of the songs.
Yeah.
It's felt quite exciting to figure that out in the studio rather than at gigs. It's just a different feeling.
So with that in mind, do you prefer performing, like recording, or playing live? Do you approach it quite differently, or do you have a preference?
I really, really love playing live. I mean, that's kind of my main thing. It's a really unique feeling to share music in that way, and it's a really communal thing, obviously, as we all know, and that's really exciting. And I love the process of kind of meeting new people and seeing places I wouldn't have seen otherwise, and so that's a really special thing. But in the studio, obviously, it's a very different mindset, although I do try and kind of capture some of that feeling of playing live. So I've still kind of been playing the songs and, without a click or anything like that. I've just been trying to get that kind of organic feel like you would have at a gig concert. But in terms of kind of choosing between, I suppose like my immediate reaction is live because of all of the things that come with it. But I've had a really, really great week.
Yeah.
And it is very exciting to sort of explore things that I've wanted to do for quite a long time. So a lot of the songs have just really kind of expansive kind of sonic beds to them, which is really nice. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, and experimenting with, again, like approach in terms of how hard or soft I play and sing. And yeah, I've kind of been singing on these songs in a way that I've wanted to for a long time. So that's kind of exciting. And that'll probably inform perhaps how I approach gigs. And, it's a kind of like a constant cycle. So I suppose the two different things, like you said, but yeah, I love playing live.
So,
long answer.
So what's your history with the guitar then? Where did this spark come from?
I started to play the guitar when I was 16. And I think in hindsight now that feels quite late, but I mean, it was still a kid,
Yeah. You still got a lot of attention and dedication to time to give something at that age.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and having the privilege of time at that period of my life was huge, and I'm so grateful and happy that I did it at that moment in time. I feel like your kind of response to information is much more acute, and yeah, it's you've got more time, you spend a lot of time just kind of traveling, you don't have to drive yourself around, and all of that. It's amazing. So and yes, I picked it up when I was 16, and that was because I didn't have any kind of vision of doing this. I didn't think that I would be doing this, and it's really strange. And I was kind of at college, and I didn't have a plan for the future, which is really unlike me. I'm very kind of this is what I'm doing, and then yeah, and I didn't feel panicked either, strangely. I just picked up the guitar, and that was because my dad had one in the house that he never played. It was just like an ornament in the corner of the room. And I just used to walk past it and kind of pluck the low E string. And I used to walk past it, and every time I would sing the riff to Day Tripper. And I thought, you know what, one day I just thought I'm gonna actually learn it rather than just like whistling it around the house. And so that's what I did, and then I just started learning all the kind of classic rock riffs, you know, Smoke on the Water and all of that, just to kind of pass the time as something different. Because I'm an only child and kind of lived in the middle of nowhere, and it was just something to explore that I hadn't done. And I was really, really into music. Listening to music. I listened to tons and tons of music, hours a day, on like long journeys to and from college and all of that kind of thing. And it kind of made sense. And then I just really loved it. And then I started to kind of write my own songs as a process of learning the guitar. Actually, it wasn't like, it wasn't an impulse of kind of, I really want to write songs and be creative lyrically. It was a kind of way of understanding music a bit more and understanding guitar playing. And then obviously after that, I really fell in love with the songwriting process and singing as well. But it stemmed from the guitar initially. And then I left college and I just started to kind of throw myself into playing live and just doing as much as I could. And then realised that, wow, I'm kind of doing it and this is really fun.
So what was your first guitar that was yours then?
First guitar that was mine.
I wasn't the ornaments in the living room.
It was actually, it's not a very cool guitar. It was...
all guitars are cool guitars.
It was a Tanglewood, and it was really small.
Yeah.
And I'd done this really stupid thing that is a classic kind of 17, 18-year-old move, where I'd played one in a shop, and this attitude really makes me cringe now, but I'd played one in a shop, and I thought, yeah, this is nice. And then I went on eBay and I found the same one for like a couple of £100 less. And I was like, 18-year-old, that's great, amazing. Cheaper version of what I already like. And then I got it and it was just really, really different. It wasn't the same guitar. It was the same model, the same make of guitar, but it wasn't, the same. So that's a lifelong lesson learned there.
We've had that conversation before. Yeah, we spoke to Dowdy on last month's podcast. It was like,
oh, nice.
Because he used to work in guitar shops as well. It's like,
amazing.
You've got to play the one that you buy. You can't...
100%.
Yeah, you can't tell a tree how to grow. They're all, might be the same model number, but they all feel completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a personal thing. We've travelled all over, and everywhere we would go, we had to go into the guitar shop and see what they had. Yeah. And it was years you were looking for the right...
Looking for the right Strat for years.
And we ended up, we were on a holiday... on a motorbike holiday in France, so not something where you can load up a guitar or anything like that. And we were both on our bikes, and we went to this little guitar shop in Reims, and you walked in and you found it, didn't you?
I was like,
that's the one.
What I want. It's taking me ages to find it.
Wow.
I was like, oh no, I can't really take it home.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you do?
We ended up having to ship it over.
That is exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Wait till the right one comes along. And now,
100%.
on that point, you have some beautiful guitars.
You do.
What have you got now? What's your main axes? Because you've got two that I see live.
Yeah, I'm in a really happy guitar situation at the moment. So my first guitar that I really felt a connection with was a Taylor dual culture signature model, and it was my friend's, and he kind of sold it to me when I was really young, when I just kind of basically picked up the guitar. So I'd had this kind of Tanglewood nightmare, and then
from Tanglewood to Taylor. Why, that's a jump. And
also, generally speaking, I kind of wasn't, and still aren't, a great fan of Taylor guitars.
Right, okay.
Which is a kind of weird contradiction because I've played one for 10 years or something. Yeah, I really love this one, and it's been my main gigging guitar for like 10 years or so, I think. And it's beautiful. It's kind of satin wood, and yeah, it's really, really lovely. And I also play this gorgeous Gibson ES-125, which, similar to you, as I was kind of searching for the right one for a long time and just couldn't find it. And I kind of gave up. I wanted to get an arch top and I was really compelled to find one and I just couldn't. So I let it go out of my mind for a while, and then I found myself doing a really cliched thing and walking down Denmark Street. And
it's expensive street to walk down.
yeah, very dangerous move. And I saw it hanging there and just totally fell in love with it. And yeah, it's exciting because it's 1952, so I love kind of thinking about the music that might have been played on it over the years, and hopefully one day I can do a bit of digging and see if I can find any pictures of it, or but yeah, it's really stunning and I'm loving playing that. A lot of my new songs have been written with that guitar. I've had it for about a year or two, and then yeah, really exciting situation arose a year or so ago, a year and a half, where an amazing luthier in North Yorkshire called Tom Sands approached me and offered to build me a guitar, which is incredible. So he's made this stunning guitar, which is Neolithic black oak back and sides, and then Sinker cypress top, and it's a really beautiful thing. So I'm really desperate to take it out on the road, and I've tried a few times, but we just haven't quite found the right pickup yet.
Right,
so it's kind of an ongoing journey. Yeah. It's a very different thing, as you know, like playing an acoustic guitar versus plugging it in and kind of getting that sound out of it. So yeah, that's an ongoing challenge, but I'm really loving playing it at home.
Brilliant.
And I really want to figure it out so I can take it.
Excellent. Oh, that's really cool. That's really nice.
Thanks. It's a crazy thing, and really grateful.
And how do you respond when somebody comes up to you and goes, "I'd like to make you your own guitar"? I mean, that's a nice conversation to have.
Couldn't believe my ears, to be honest. I've played a few of his guitars at that point because he does these great kind of YouTube sessions and gets musicians in to play his songs, on his guitars. And he, one of his kind of worries, or I don't know if it's a worry, but one of his kind of points was that, of course, these are bespoke guitars, and they come with quite a big price tag on them, and consequently a lot of them end up in collectors' houses, and they're really beautiful, but they don't really get out much. Yeah. And so he was kind of wanting somebody to take one out on the road and enjoy it for what it is, and so but I couldn't believe it. It's he's a incredible maker and a really nice guy. But yeah,
it's really cool. I mean, we should mention that you were mentioned in Guitarist Magazine not so long ago. They wrote some lovely things about you. At the Blue, or did they get in touch? What happened there?
Yeah, they just got in touch and said we'd love to kind of do a little feature on you. And it was kind of around the time of when I released my most recent album, The Edge of the Land. And they just wanted to sort of talk about the guitar journey and some of the gear that I have, and that was a really unbelievable moment for me because, well, it's just a really special publication because it's kind of cross genre, isn't it? It's just about guitars. It's not about kind of pigeonholing music and that kind of thing, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
And the other thing was just that as a woman, kind of being recognised as a guitarist isn't, I've had some kind of trials and tribulations in the past of kind of, I think a lot of women will tell you the same story of like kind of sharing the bill with men and them being kind of these virtuosos who are incredible players, and then as women it's kind of beautiful songs and beautiful voice, and it's quite it can be quite challenging sometimes. And but I appreciate those comments, of course. I think that's brilliant. But it's just quite stark sometimes, the way that kind of the way that it's kind of viewed. And so this kind of this feature in Guitarist is kind of a real moment for me of thinking, wow, this is kind of it feels really kind of like a moment for me, and I remember it forever. I think it's
truly amazing.
Really, really, really nice. Really, really nice.
And it's a lovely photo on your Instagram of you holding it. It's that proper.
And it's a special edition one as well with the Marshall on the front. It's a really nice. It's not just any old regular Guitarist publication. It's a special edition one.
Embossed and everything.
Oh yeah.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that about being a female musician. We've noticed a distinct shift in the way that there's a lot of kind of guitar and different companies. It does feel like the last couple of years there's been a huge shift to actually recognise female musicians an awful lot more. And it's
a lot of the advertising, particularly by Fender.
Yeah, Fender have really gone for it.
When they're giving guitars away to people, can you use one of these and make some videos with it? Fender, a lot of companies, but Fender are the one that I really spotted are being very proactive of giving them to incredible women guitarists. And it's nice to see
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. And it's lovely because it's that inspiration then for the next generation to come through and just recognise that you can do that. There's absolutely no reason. Similar to you, I grew up in a very rural area, and so you didn't really have that access to kind of seeing other performers and actually seeing people who looked like you on stage. But I grew up during that grunge movement, and then suddenly you had all these kind of female grunge bands, and it just sort of gave you that kind of thought of, oh, actually, no, you can get up there and do it, and it's not just about the guys doing it. So it does give you that little kind of drive and that extra push as a young person to kind of just go, I can pick up that instrument and give it a go. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. I think, it's huge to sort of even subconsciously, you know, having those faces around kind of really seeps into your being, and you go, you know. And I was actually, you mentioning Fender specifically, talking to Rosie Frater-Taylor, who is a kind of like amazing rock jazz guitarist. And she has just been kind of endorsed by Fender.
Oh,
and
brilliant.
They're having, she said that it's like the team behind the scenes there are really, really, really focused on kind of young women and putting them at the forefront. And that's really exciting. And she's brilliant. But it's a definite trend for the good as well.
It feels like a very conscious decision. It doesn't feel like it's like actually they've done the right thing. I mean, and Spark amps are the other one that I keep seeing that they're giving to young women. It's like brilliant. They're actually really pushing it. Yeah,
and although it's a conscious decision, I really don't think it's
the perfect
it's
right.
absolutely not to the detriment of the music. You know,
not at all.
Amazing music. It's incredible.
For me, it's brilliant because I'm discovering all these new guitarists.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, we're
Talking of which, I'm your book.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you do that?
That was such a... Where did the inspiration come from for releasing your all the tablature in a book form for your latest album? Because you want one.
I want one, so please make sure you don't sell out before you get here.
Oh, thank you. Well, a few reasons, I think, really. A few people kind of come up afterwards and say, do you have tabs and things? And at first I was kind of thinking, no. But then, so that was one of the reasons. Another reason was that I had a really lovely, really brilliant photographer in the studio while we were recording the live sessions called Stuart Baxter. He's from Hull, and he's just a brilliant all-round guy. And I really wanted to kind of showcase more of that photography because, I tried to get it out there as much as I could, but there were a lot of kind of nice shots that kind of didn't make it out there. And, well, I was just trying to think of ways that I could kind of share that with people a bit more. So that was the other reason. And also just the process of kind of getting the songs down for me was really helpful and really useful to figure out how I did it. Because I don't kind of do it in a linear way. I don't really know I don't have any musical theory knowledge, basically. So it was a kind of interesting process of kind of documenting that for my own sake as well. But yeah, it's just a different angle on like sharing the same thing, I suppose, and trying to, having the opportunity to share a bit more behind the songs and diving into everything in a little bit more detail in a way that I couldn't do with the album.
That's great.
Yeah, and it's really exciting to see how many have gone. You said like 2/3 of them have gone already or something a while ago, and which is why you suddenly panicked.
Yeah.
Because you just had it in your...
No, I was going to get orange colours.
Yeah, we're going to get one of those. Yeah.
It was a really lovely surprise. I was kind of unsure about the response because it's kind of quite niche, but then I also tried to include these kind of mini essays and these photos to try and, you know, got the lyrics and, to try and kind of...
Well, it looks like a really nice mix between a tab book and a coffee table book. You know, just like that story and it just from the photos that I've seen online, it just...
Great, yeah.
I was like, I didn't know to start with from the first few photos. I was like, it's like a coffee table book. It wasn't until afterwards I realised it was actually tab as well. I didn't realise.
Right, cool, great. Yeah, that was the kind of vibe I was trying to go for. And if you are a guitarist, then great. But if you're not, then you can still also cool.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll inspire you to become one.
Yeah, there you go.
Pick up the guitar and try and work that out. Yeah. It's an interesting thing because I can't read tab at all. I read music, but I can't read tab. And so I really struggle.
Because I'm lazy, so I read tab. I can't be bothered. I don't want to work that hard.
It was quite a challenge to try and decide how to lay it out, in fact. Because I did have the music as well.
Yeah.
But then the book would just kind of get going. But it was like, I need to make some decisions.
Yeah. Everyone walking away from your gigs with like these huge weights.
Encyclopedia of the album.
Yeah, War and Peace.
Your name popped up recently. We put on Fairport Convention in Bridgnorth.
Amazing.
She's in March, yeah.
And Simon, the singer, he just seen our flyer for the shows and he spotted you straight away and was waxing lyrical about how brilliant you were. So yeah.
Oh, that's so lovely. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you just hurt yourself actually. It was around that time and we were talking, and he mentioned that, and that's how I found out actually that you hurt yourself. Okay. And he was like, I was like, what happened there? And then so I looked it up straight away. I think it just happened a few days before. So are you okay to talk about that?
Yeah.
What happened and how did that feel and what your journey through that? Because it's quite a big thing.
Yeah, I am a real terrible person for rushing, and I'd just come off the phone with my mum, and I thought, right, I'm gonna just crack on now. I'm gonna get some stuff done, and so I'm gonna make some toast. So I just started slicing through this loaf of bread, and also sliced through my index finger on my left hand. Which is, you know, arguably the most important one. And there was just my fingertip on the chopping board.
Okay.
And you know, I was kind of due to play gigs the next day, or maybe even that evening. Yeah, it was really traumatic. Yeah. Really traumatic. Not only did it obviously really hurt a lot, but it was kind of like, what now?
Yeah.
And because this year, you know, usually the last year was insane in terms of gigs and being busy and stuff, and this year is a little quieter, but I had periods where it was busier and then quiet and then busy, and I was just about to go into one of the busy periods, and it was really scary actually for a time. I was being quite patient with the kind of healing process for the majority of the time. And I was very lucky in that it healed quite quickly, visually.
Yeah.
So it looked pretty good in a few weeks. I'd say like 3 weeks or something, it looked quite good, which is amazing. But then that was when I kind of began to get very impatient because I thought, you know, it looks fine. So I'll try, and it was just really sore, and that was quite challenging. And then I started getting all the questions of, what if this is it now? What if it just is just going to be really, really sore?
Yeah,
forever. What if something's happened or damaged or something? And but thankfully, you know, I've been playing gigs since. It's still I can still feel it as tender and things, but it's kind of very.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that at all. Thankfully. So yeah, I'm very lucky. It's kind of bad enough to really shake me.
Yeah.
But kind of it was just the right amount of bad to make me
right up to the line,
rushing.
but not costly.
Yeah. So now I literally count to 5 before I do any chopping.
Okay, good plan. Good plan.
Yeah.
Buy sliced loaf.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, a sack off the sourdough.
You can't give up the sourdough.
No, you can't.
Fair enough.
It's
quite exciting about how much sourdough is available. It's so much nicer.
I was so glad. So did they reattach, or did it just grow back naturally, or did
it just grew back naturally because there's obviously like quite a lot of dead skin at the end of my finger, which is pretty gross. But and there was some live skin that obviously said, cut off a chunk of. But I just didn't feel confident that it would be enough to make it work to sort of seal back together.
So you've got to get calluses all over again?
I was thinking.
Well, welcome to what it felt like when you were 16 again.
Yeah. I'm going to have a lot of patience.
Yeah, that's it. At least it's just the one finger.
I know, yeah, right. There was a part of me that was like, shall we just start to learn to play without this for a bit? And then I was like, no. I'm not going to do it.
Well, this is it, because, Django only had 2 decent working fingers, and you look what he did, and it's like, wow.
It's wild.
Yeah, just insane. Yeah. You just right to what you got.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And I'm very glad to hear that it's all healing nicely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Through the fingers of the dawn slips a new light with children reborn. Take your time. Take your time.
Yes, you grew up in quite a rural area, as did I, which is a slightly different part of the country, but because it does really feel that connection with kind of your surroundings and the kind of the rural areas really does influence your music an awful lot, and that does come through. And then I saw that you're doing this songwriting retreat. Sit with the Humankind songwriting retreat. And it just sounded like such an interesting kind of concept. So I just wondered if that was how that came about, or is that a new thing you started, or have you done it before?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, we're running a songwriting retreat in September, October, and it's up on the west coast of Scotland, which isn't an area that I kind of have a huge personal connection to, but it's that kind of the feeling of space and being at the edge, and which really draws me in. And obviously, it's just relentlessly beautiful. And yeah, I've done a few songwriting workshops at festivals and things, and I've helped out with other people's kind of retreats and things like that, and collaborated with other songwriters to run them and that kind of thing. So this is the first time that I'll have kind of run a retreat for like a week, with myself kind of being one of the main tutors, which is exciting. I've done kind of week-long songwriting workshops before, but only kind of been an assistant as such, which was a great experience. But yeah, I'm doing it with an incredible songwriter called Iona Lane. She's a brilliant musician. She lives in Glasgow now, but she's originally from Yorkshire / Lancashire, but keep that on the down low. And she's wonderful, an amazing musician. And we went on tour together in Europe in November and had a really lovely time. And we just got talking about the kind of similarities in our inspiration. So she takes the majority of her inspiration from Scotland and the islands and the west coast there. And we were just talking about the kind of similarities that we have with the emotional connection to the landscapes that we know the best. And then a lot of the aspects about those places were kind of that were kind of important for us. We're actually very similar, and a lot of it kind of overlapped. We both enjoyed exploring the connection of the landscape and to the people who live there and that kind of thing, the kind of human connection to natural spaces and things like that. We just said, how fun, it was actually Iona's idea, how fun would it be to do a songwriting retreat? And she knew that I'd had some experience of doing that before. So yeah, it's our first time kind of running one together and kind of leading one for that long, really. So it's going to be exciting. We've got people coming from all over the place, some people from Europe and all over the UK, and a real mix of ages and gender. And yeah, it's going to be really, really nice. Going to do a lot of kind of connecting with the landscape while we're there. And yeah, I'm very excited.
It sounds marvellous, yeah.
Are there spaces left, and where would people go to find out about it?
Yeah, there are. Well, there's one space left.
Oh, wow. Okay. Be quick, guys.
Yeah. And you can find out about that on Iona Lane's website, which I believe is ionalane.com. But if not, you'll find it.
Yeah. And we'll put a link in the description below the podcast. There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. It's been really nice because we just ran a young songwriters bursary for it as well, because it's really important to us that we were kind of making these things accessible to young people, because my experience with them in the past has been, of course, it's you've got to take time off work to come to these things, and it's not an insignificant amount of money, of course, and it's really important to us that we tried to kind of make it accessible for people our age and younger. And we had a crazy response to that. It was amazing. Couldn't believe it. So yeah, we've just chosen the bursary.
Brilliant.
Place. Grace Harvey, she's an amazing songwriter, and then it's going to be nice.
Hey,
yeah,
that sounds really cool. And you've got 3 incredible shows happening in the next couple of weeks. That we should talk about.
I'm very excited.
So you're over here with us on the 13th of June, 2024. For those who are listening years in the future.
Yeah.
You're with us at the Ludlow Distillery, which is a distillery where they make whiskey and gin, and you're next to all the barrels. It's a really nice little room.
Yeah. That sounds perfect. Yeah.
And then the jam factory on the Friday, which they don't make jam. I know.
It's going to be getting all my groceries in through the week.
They do make incredible Mexican food.
They make incredible Mexican food, and they do some great vegan food. So you're
amazing. I'm sold.
And then on the Saturday, you're at Violet's Tea Room in Bridgenorth.
Yes.
And that's just cake for days. Cake. There you go.
Yeah.
What more could you want?
You got your alcohol, you got your Mexican food, and then you got food for the cake.
Yeah. It's like your meal over 3 days. Yeah.
Oh, a dream. What a dream.
So have you been over to this part of the country before?
I played in Hereford before.
Okay.
A few years ago. And I played a really nice gig. I think, hopefully I'm in the right area. Prestine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I think it's a little bit further west, maybe. Yeah, that was really nice.
I'm nodding like I have any clue. I have no sense of direction. I still use sat nav to get around Bridgenorth. I just nodded confidently there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Prestine is a really fascinating place. It's right on the border of England and Wales, and it's kind of constantly been fought over, apparently. It's very cool.
So I'm just making a note, Prestine.
Prestine?
Visit.
Oh, we should go visit. That's a good idea.
It's not that far away.
Is it not?
No.
I know it's a name that sounds familiar. I've heard the word a lot, so it must be close. That's as far as
towards Ludlow and keep going. It's that way. Yeah.
I really have a terrible sense of direction.
I do, yeah. Sometimes mine is really bad. I've got a really quite a good general geography of the country. But
okay.
I'm the kind of person who kind of walk out the wrong way from the supermarket or something.
Yeah.
Just turn the wrong way.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just turn the opposite way to what I think, because that's probably more correct.
Yeah.
I have to talk about stuff on the way, talk about the building. So that I have a memory to go back to on the way.
That's a great idea.
I spoke about that side. That's, yeah.
Yes, that was an interesting tree.
Yeah.
Because around here, to be honest, the landmark is when we're talking on the phone and driving, and they're like, so where are you now? And it's like, can see fields,
by a hedge.
trees. No idea.
By a really great birch tree.
Yeah,
that's kind of it. Yeah.
Sounds like my kind of place.
And have you got what other shows have you got going on at the moment across? Are you doing many festivals this year?
I've actually got quite a quiet festival year this year. For the previous 2 years, I did kind of, on average, about 20 each year. Yeah, which was a lot of putting up the tent and taking down the tent.
Yeah.
And amazing fun. Amazing fun. So that was the kind of, for the last 2 years, I've kind of done that amount both times. And yeah, it was really lovely. But this year is very different. I think I've got about 3, which would be really nice. Really looking forward to going down to the New Forest Folk Festival for the first time. And I just played a really lovely one yesterday, actually, by the Thames. And I actually saw Dowdy play.
Oh, did you? Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I've been a huge fan of his records for a long time. And then he actually came and played like a mile away from my house, which was really nice. And then I saw him yesterday. So, it's great.
Did you get to say hello?
But, yeah.
Did you get to
Yeah.
He's lovely.
Yeah, we did a little record swap.
Oh, did you? Brilliant. Superb.
Yeah, and he's phenomenal. But yeah, I don't have that many festivals because I'm just kind of getting my head around this new release and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Which is exciting. But yeah, I've got quite a lot of gigs in September, October, November. So
brilliant. Superb. So you got a lot of studio stuff going on. And next year, as the new release comes out, you'll hit the festival circuit again.
Exactly. That's the plan.
Yeah,
that's the plan. Yeah.
You can get a camper van. You don't have to put the tent up and down them.
I know. That is also on the agenda.
There you go.
To figure that one out.
Thanks for giving so much of your time on an early Sunday morning, which I know, as a musician,
great.
Have you seen this time on a Sunday morning recently?
I know, I was a bit like, am I just going to speak and be like, hello? I'm so tired.
You're husky though, we remember you. It's morning.
Don't remember your voice being that low before.
We've had to get a radio to go for a walk and drink lots of coffee so that we're more alert at this. I might go back to it.
You've brought it out with me. Thank you. No, you've been amazing. Thank you.
Someone's burning his old wardrobe on the green, and all the kids are laughing barefooted on the grass, and the cold is coming in.
How lovely was that?
That was such a lovely chat. It just really nice flow to that chat.
Yeah, she's so nice. I mean, of all the people to hang out on a Sunday morning with, she was totally.
Yeah. That is the lady to hang out with on a Sunday. Very interesting, all the different strands that she's actually got going on. If I was a songwriter, which unfortunately I'm not, I would love to be one. I would want to go on that retreat.
Yeah, that's true. We'd have to write really quickly because there's only one space left.
There is that. And also, I don't write songs. But in my head, one day I would be an aspiring songwriter.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I'd be all creative.
Creative, would you have a cravat on at all times?
All times.
All times.
And a notepad and a pen so that I could just whip out my ideas immediately.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll just use voice memos on my phone. It's fine.
Well, I know you've got to go old school if you're going to do it. You have to physically show people.
Sorry, it's not about capturing. It's about showing people your
Absolutely.
Well, on that bombshell, this project has been only possible because of the support from so many different sponsors, partners, venues, and particularly the Arts Council, who have supported this project, and the artists. These artists don't have to give up their weekend to come over to these little venues in the Shires.
Yes, these are very intimate shows, and these are artists who
we used to play at much bigger places, and so we
we're dragging them out to the countryside. So we greatly appreciate every single one of our ShireFolk artists for coming and being part of this project.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, we shall see you next time, where we'll be interviewing
Rob Clamp.
Rob Clamp.
We will. Have a great day, everybody, and enjoy.
Yeah, he's probably the only person who's made it always.
All right, Andy.
All right, Andy.